we're informal here, so I want to welcome everybody here, and Secretary Santiago, I would like to welcome you to the Veterans Transition House. We've been here since 1990, and we just really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come down. We know you're very busy, and it's very important that you come down to take a look to see the great work that the VTH and its partners and the city of New Bedford are all doing together. We've been doing some tremendous work here, and we're really proud of it. And I don't want to spend a lot of time up here, but basically what we're going to do today is, if you could do the agenda, Jay. We're just going to do, I'll just do an introduction real quick, and then we'll just do a quick round robin. If folks could just introduce themselves to the group here, and then we'll get started. So, John, we'll lead off with you.
My name's John Louise. I'm the case manager for 24 residents in the main house. I also came here as a resident 11 years ago, so it works.
My name's Leah Berg. I oversee a lot of our residential programs here.
Great. Kevin?
My name is Kevin Almeida. I am the Employment and Training Specialist for the HVRP program here at the VTH.
Hi, I'm Darlene Mello. I do housing support specialist.
John Ramirez, President, Board of Directors, VTH.
Rick Brown, Treasurer, Board of Directors.
Yep.
I'm Lisa Primus. I'm part-time case manager at the Willow Street Department.
Okay. Hi.
I'm the mayor's assistant, Melissa Sears.
Brian, I guess?
Brian
Yeah.
Consatio, Veterans Transition House, Supportive Services for Veterans and Families, case manager.
Dave?
Hi, behind the cameras, David Garten. I'm the fundraising manager for Veterans Transition House.
Okay. And Jen, I guess?
Jennifer Clark, Deputy Director for the City's Office of Housing and Community Development.
Josh Amaral, Director of that department. Pleasure working with Jen.
Noah Coolidge, EOVS, Director of Housing and Outreach and Expansion.
Nick Bornstein, Policy Advisor at the Executive Office of Veteran Services. Jason Stravitas, I'm the Business Manager here at VTH.
Katie?
Guys.
Katie Buckley, I am the Outreach Director and Clinical Treatment Clinician.
Jesus Quinones, also known as Chico. I'm the GPD Program Manager at VTH.
Hey everybody, I'm Mike Riley, Veterans Transition House Supportive Services for Veterans and Families Outreach Specialist.
Great. I'm sorry, did anybody I miss? No. Okay, thank you. Thanks. So I just want to do a quick brief introduction to what we've been doing. And then I'm going to just step off and let the folks that are really doing the daily work that are here, that's because we've got these new buildings and all that, and we used to talk about shiny new buildings kind of stuff, and it's not just about shiny new buildings, it's about what the work goes into it. That's a nice thing to have that, but it's the work that's being done day in, day out by our case managers and by our licensed social workers. So Leah Berg will get up, and then Katie, and then an overview of different, Jason will go over the business stuff, and then I'm going to show a quick, video about the Pleasant Street project that we did. That's now the OVS, the transitional housing, and then we'll do a tour, and then we can come back here for questions and answers and things like that. And it won't take that long, and we're very respectful of everybody's time, so we want to make sure. So if you're relatively new to the Executive Office of Veteran Service, this is the only VTH you have seen, but 4 years ago, we were in a dilapidated hospital, the old Union Hospital, and we were looking at redoing the hospital, and it was the rehab at first, and then it was like, that's not going to work. You can't just put paint on it and fix it up. So we looked to rehab it, and then with DHCD's help and approval, we allowed us to instead raise the site and build 30 units of permanent supportive housing, basically quadrupling our permanent housing stock. We have 11 other units of permanent housing in the city. This anchor gave us the confidence to embark on a capital campaign, which, along with our decades-long partner, the City of New Bedford, Attorney General Maura Healy's at the time receivership program, allowed us to secure the building and then rehab this building and turned it into a really flagship building, about $1 million property that you'll see, and you'll be hopefully impress, especially when you see what it was. The HQ that we're now in is also the home to the new EOVS outreach program right here. So this is another line item that's here. It's been doing tremendous work with housing people and taking care of a lot of things that we're doing is preventive housing. We're getting people before they lose their apartment or their thing. We're getting them fixed up with arrears and things like that. So then those numbers you'll see soon. And that's a good place to turn the floor. So what I'll do is I'd like to introduce Leah Burt, and she can kind of talk to the program at the EOVS Transitional.
Okay.
Leah?
Should you mind standing up?
Yep.
Just from where I am?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So we have 3 different residential houses with a primary focus of helping homeless veterans transfer into permanent housing. We get referrals from everywhere, from a lot from the local VAs, and we get self-referrals since getting the grant with the outreach center. We've been able to really expand our outreach efforts, so we're getting the word out. So folks are self-referring, and just various other community partners. I would say a good 80% of our veterans have addiction issues, and so although our primary focus is helping folks find affordable housing, we're also offering a lot of supportive services towards recovery. So we run groups here, we go out into the community for meetings, and then we have case management services. So we're making sure that folks have the financial resources that they need, that their health needs are being addressed. If there are legal issues, we're helping them navigate that as well. And really just doing whatever it takes to get folks back on their feet and out into the community again. It's kind of your Cliff Note version of what we're doing in residential.
Okay. Yep. Good. Anything? Katie? Katie is now another licensed social worker. So this is the Vets Transition House. We've never had licensed social workers before. So this was new in the past, 4 or 5 years now, right? I think.
Almost 5.
That Leah first came on, and then Katie followed. So we're really lucky that we've got these professionals in here doing this work. Katie?
So I'm the director of the Outreach Center as well as the clinical treatment clinician, primary clinician. So in regards to outreach, we have really expanded our efforts by hiring Dolly, who is our housing and support specialist, as well as our outreach clinician. His name is Pedro Ramos. He's unfortunately not here today. But we have really started to increase the numbers of vets that we're servicing on a monthly basis. When it was primarily me as the sole outreach clinician, I was maybe meeting 5-10 people, new vets every month. Now we're upwards of 30 vets, new vets every month, so that's wonderful. Pedro is boots on the ground, out in the community, walking through encampments, connecting with local agencies, hospitals, jails, you name it, to find where the need is. And then, Dolly is available to, once they're connected with Pedro, to hopefully get them, regardless of their discharge status, get them into long-term permanent housing. So we are doing a lot of work. We have people that are walking in and offering drop-in services if they need help with case management. We also do that here as well. So it's been really busy. It's been wonderful. And then in addition to that, the clinical treatment model that I run is VA funded, and that is a 7-bed residential program for individuals who have both mental health and substance use issues. So they receive group therapy, individual therapy, and case management services during their time in that residence. They can be there for up to 2 years, but all the while we are really working hard to make sure that they get placed in their own housing by the end of their time there. So that's what I do here.
Any questions?
Yeah. No, this is, first of all, Mr. Mayor, thank you for welcoming us into your city. The fact that for 3 years in a row that there have been 0 homeless veterans here, I think it's a testament to all the work that each and every one of you do on the front lines. And as a frontline provider myself in the ED, I know the important work you do. And so I'm as a veteran and as a secretary, incredibly grateful for the work that you do. Let me just give you a little bit of background about what we're doing at the Executive Office of Veteran Services.
Yeah.
This new office started on March 1st. As some of you know, this was a department for a very long time, right? And during COVID, there was a tragedy. 110 veterans died at 2 of the soldiers' homes, 1 in Holyoke and 1 in Chelsea. That, in addition to a whole host of things, resulted in the legislature and the governor at the time elevating this position from a department to a secretariat status. And with that whole host of resources to support our veterans. And so when Governor Healy at the time asked me to serve in this position, I said, let me think about this. At the time, I actually was still deployed in Syria. And I thought about my service, and I thought what we could do to best serve our veterans. And what I noticed at the time was that there were 3 pieces we're missing at this new office. Was a lack of leadership, a lack of vision, a lack of capacity. So the first 3 months, we hired 50 people. We put forth a strategic vision to really go out there and engage with providers just like yourself, right? Who understand their complexity and the multidimensional nature that this is, right? This is not just treating a homelessness issue, right? This is a substance use issue, right? This is a mental health issue. So the model that you have here, I think, is a model for the rest of the country, the rest of the state to follow here, right? So we want to be supportive in that endeavor. I'm happy to say that over the past 7-8 months since we've been there, we've really kind of hit the ground running to hire all these people, to secure the federal financing to build Holyoke. We had a groundbreaking there 2 months ago. It's a $500 million project. This week, we'll be opening up Chelsea, the new soldiers' home, right? It's 124. We've increased capacity. As a physician, I can tell you it is the most magnificent healthcare building I've ever been around. And it also happens to be 100% fossil-free as well. So we're excited about that. I think there's a lot of opportunity to grow and expand, which we're committed to doing, but we want to do it in a partnership with each and every one of you. We have, in the first 90 days, from Pittsfield to Nantucket, have visited every county and want to engage with folks because we understand the importance of engagement and working with the people on the front line. So that's why we're here today. I mean, the fact that you've had 3 years in a row, 0 veterans homeless, I mean, looking at my numbers and reviewing, I mean, we still have a bit of a ways to go to solve veteran homelessness in Massachusetts. We're committed to doing that with our team here, Nick and Noah and the rest of our team, but we're excited about it. But I think we have a lot to learn from VTH, and that's why we're here. And, we support you guys financially.
Yep.
But it's great to be here in the area with the mayor here and with your team to discover and learn more how we can collaborate with one another.
Thank you, Secretary. Yeah, it's awesome work that we've been doing, and just the other organizations that are throughout the state are all doing basically the same thing, and that we're all making this effort to end veteran homelessness. That's what we're trying to do. But we know it's just not that simple. We've got all these other issues with the mental health and the substance use and things. So there's some challenges, but they're doable. Mayor. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim. Just turn around the mic for benefit of our friends in the media. So first off, welcome to New Bedford, Mr. Secretary. Pleased to have you here, and we're grateful for your leadership. It's hard to get thrown into something new, and there are a lot of people in this room who can empathize with this, getting thrown into something new, be given a mission without a whole lot of instruction, right? And but that's what you do. And I think the governor's right. There needs to be more capacity, more intention from state government to support veterans in the state. There are lots of veterans in need, and no society can call itself a just society if it isn't taking care of those who have, to use Lincoln's terms, have borne the battle, right? That is so important, and you're the right guy for the mission. I can say here that we appreciate the plaudits, and I say the very broad we. There's a huge team here. We probably don't crow about it enough, but it is a significant accomplishment to get to functional zero and to stay there. And but the credit goes out to the folks you see here and lots of others. Jim, the VTH has not only skillfully led the place, but has grown. So we're talking about, growing and expanding capacity. They've done that here, and they've done that in a way that's strategic. I will add, you mentioned the facility and what it cost you. Now with the passenger rail station right across the street, your real estate value has gone up too. We can't tax you, of course. We're not profit.
Dang,
But it's an opportune place to be located. Josh and his predecessor Pat Sullivan, along with Jen Clark, on behalf of the city, and a number of others, have done a great job as well. Our city council supports them. Sean Oliver is the Ward 3 councilor, is here today. We appreciate his being here, but we have a city council that is very supportive of veteran services. But then there's all the providers here, the VTH, the HSPN, everybody here. I think the credit for them isn't so much sort of programmatic gimmickry. It isn't like like doing the fad and the fads of the latest programs. It is really about hustle. It's about enthusiasm, which is a kind of a hard thing to teach, right? It's a hard thing to replicate. So like the people you bring into your organization, they always want to screen for, heart and drive, right? Because the way they make a difference is they're out there hustling, and their approach is granular. It is personalized because every beneficiary, every vet out there is different, and so you got to sort of meet them where they are. I know these are all things kind of like every patient's different. Every person that is provided services is different, especially when they have a complicated past, when they're dealing with a whole lot. You have to sort of meet them where they are and then follow through, and that's there's a lot to be said for following through. I tell my kids, do as you say you're going to do, and that's what these guys do. And so that's the credit belongs to them. They will also know. So yes, they deserve a victory lap here of sorts, but they also know that their work isn't done. Right? Their work's never done in any real sense, and so they continue to hustle and change and evolve, and that's to their great credit. So
Thanks,
I just
Mayor.
want to say thanks to all of them.
Thanks, Mayor. I know Josh Amaral, city, for the Housing Community Development. I know you wanted to say a couple of words about vets.
Yeah, no, thank you, Jim. I appreciate, again, you and your team putting this event together today, and the Secretary for joining us and coming and seeing what we're all about. The idea for this really hatched from your team reaching out to New Bedford and other communities around the state to figure out, how we can maximize the available federal resources to build some of these programs. And of course, in that dialogue, we got to talk about all the great things that we're doing here, and then that sort of fed into having this event today to highlight and demonstrate it. I think, look around, look at the number of dedicated VTH staff in the room, right? Look at the quality of the facility, and as we make our way through, it'll speak for itself. And then look at the numbers: 0 on-street veteran homelessness for 3 years in a row. Hopefully, we're able to continue that streak, But these things are definitely linked, right? Building high-quality programs, taking care of people, being strategic in how we manage the funding that's allocated to us, and trying to put places where we get the most return on investment, we get the most leverage, is always going to be smart and is always going to be effective in doing that. So I think we have to be mindful of that as we build out other approaches, whether it's in homelessness or housing in general. And then I think it's fitting that New Bedford is leading the way on this. Because New Bedford takes really good care of its veterans across the board. It's a city that takes a lot of pride in that. And I think as we discussed, Secretary, somewhat of an outlier, but New Bedford's outlay in Chapter 115 benefits is greater than, I think, every other community in Massachusetts, even Boston, which is kind of a staggering statistic, right, in terms of population size. But we're a place that's really, really prideful of that. So we appreciate your being here and really highlighting all the great work that's been done. But as the mayor said, the work is never done. We're only one, point in time count away from seeing new challenges and having to adapt on the fly. And the issues that I think our providers are seeing today are different from what they saw last year and different from certainly 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So we continue to adapt and embrace that, but it's the ingenuity of all the people in the room. It's not, us guys with suits on. So we appreciate all their hard work and are committed to continuing along this path.
Thanks, Josh. I know, Jay, I know you had a couple of things you want to say about.
Timing makes sense.
I think we're okay on time. I think the only thing that we got, Jay had a few things to say, and then I just wanted to show that video, and then before we embarked on our little tour.
In some ways, the least important part, I'm Jason, I'm the business manager here at VTH, and so I look after the money coming in and try to see that it goes out as, as good stewards of the money that comes in from the executive office and from other funding sources. So just really quickly, a little bit about where we are. We have 83 people that live in VTH. The daily numbers shift a little bit one program to another, but as of the recent time when I put this presentation together, 23 in the EOVS shelter, 19 in our VA GPD, sort of similar transitional, and 41 in our permanent apartments. 24 staff do the work that we do. Most of those are full-time. There's a few part-timers too. That work takes place in 7 different buildings and in these 6 programs. Those first 2 that you see, of course, Mr. Secretary, you're familiar with, those are constitute almost exactly, it's about 51% of our, so almost exactly half of our funding. One thing, I could go on about this stuff, but I won't, but one of the most exciting things is our next biggest funder used to be the VA, so another government source that's dependent to one extent or another on political largesse and continuing that. Now, thanks to the fundraising that goes on, our private and corporate and foundation donations are our second biggest source after EOVS, so that makes us a much more stable organization and likely to be able to weather the storms that may come our way. And then, as I just said, the 3 different funding categories. And then this is a little bit, we'll be seeing this actually on the ground, but this is our footprint in New Bedford. We talked about maybe spreading beyond New Bedford, but right now, this is where we are. So we'll be touring 1060 Pleasant Street. That's, as Jim talked about, it was literally a crack house 4 years ago. So now it is no amount of hyperbole to say that in a building where vets were getting sick and dying, shooting dope, they're now in programs that are helping them recover. And that's due to all the partnerships that Jim talked about. And then we have the outlying properties as well, the programs that we've talked about. And then just the last thing I'll just mention is that this is a picture of the funding. And so we see that big green semicircle to the right is the huge part that EOVS, I still have a hard time not saying DPS, I've said that for so many years. And that's the kind of the through line. It was our first program, so it was almost the only thing we did in the beginning. When we first got funding, it was before my time here, in that old hospital building, we were able to get DBS money to bring in and create what we call the shelter programs, the transitional housing. And that remains the biggest thing, but we've been able to build, what Jim and I talked about. It's like you said, it's great to have these new buildings, but we've built we brought the level of professionalism and the staff up to a level that we're really proud of, and providing just a palette of services so that we're not entirely a one-stop shop. We have community partners, agency partners, but we're able to give vets a lot of what they need, most of what they need here. And then just to give a quick mention to the other programs that didn't get mentioned. Kevin, who introduced himself, we have a HPRP, it's actually a Department of Labor, U.S. Department of Labor program through a subcontract with New England Center and Home for Veterans that you're well aware of, that has allows vets that have not been able to obtain private employment to do so. We have a supportive services to veteran families program that now has 3 staff. That as well as housing directly helps them do other things, buy things that they need for their apartments, etc. And we have permanent supportive housing. So those 41 apartments that we talked about, 30 that we own in partnership, and 11 that are proprietary, we are able to deliver services to them in such a way that the 11 that we've owned in all the time we've been here, I think we've turned over 2 apartments in that entire time. In over 8 years, only 2 apartments have turned over. That's how stable those people are. I would say that these are formerly addicted or alcoholic homeless veterans that are more stable in their housing than I think the average person in America that rents housing. So it's just an amazing achievement that's due to not me and the money, but the people that do the work. So I have that.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
Thanks. And then the last thing that we could do is I just got a quick video that we can show before we go on the tour. And the tour, we're just going to leave here come out the front door, go up the sidewalk, we'll go through the transitional house, the front door, the 1060, this one that we're about to see, and then we'll come out of that building and go around the block over here in Willis, and we can go to the cafeteria. I'll show you the cafeteria, and then the VTH suite of offices that we lease from our partnership. So, and then come back here for questions and answers and for.
Great.
Sound good?
Would you mind if we took questions first before the tour, because I'm going to have to split a little bit early. I know some of the members of the media have some questions. That's okay with you, Mr. Secretary?
If that's all right.
Sure.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
You guys want to go ahead? Nobody?
Nobody? Was there any questions?
Maybe after the video?
Maybe after the video?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, good. Jay, can you hit that video?
Yes.
So this is in partnership.
It's going to need you to unlock it or your.
Oh, okay.
Whisper your password to him, Jim.
It's the thumb. There you go. There you go. There we go. So this is 1060 Pleasant Street. Dilapidated. It was an eyesore. Not being able to, contractors recommended it be knocked down because it was just going to cost too much money to rehab it. But all the original fireplaces were in it with no damage, which was surprising. That was the original oven. It's still there.
How many rooms were there?
There's 10 rooms that will, so it was two people to a room, 2 vets to a room.
And the cost to make that?
It's right around 800,
over
900,000 or so. Yeah.
Just in the hard cost.
All
There
private.
are a number of inputs.
Yeah.
In the funding stack, so some city funds was
CPA.
was impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
CDBG funds.
Yeah.
But what was impressive is that a number of almost like all the regional banks stepped up and contributed something.
Yeah.
Which is it's something I don't ordinarily see.
Yeah.
All of them jumping in, wanting
Right.
to be associated with the project.
It was the first time the VTH, with Dave's help back there behind the cameras, where we raised $1.3 million, mostly private. And then like the Attorney General at the time, Maura Healy, came through and she. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of stuff. Catherine, S2S.
Duff?
In Whale, Duff, yep.
DUFF.
Yep.
So what year was that completed?
2020, 21?
No.
Oh,
The work was done by 19. but-
Yeah, 19, yeah. 18, I think it was, yeah.
I'll let the governor know that we were back here, and it looks like she made
Yeah.
the rounds as an AG. I mean, the great thing is that the Healy Driscoll administration just as committed to housing, substance use. I mean, there's no administration in the history of the Commonwealth that's invested more in veterans than they have. And so the fact that we get to kind of go out there, get on the streets, meet with the stakeholders here, it's really their vision that they're putting forward, and we're excited about it.
No, it's the other house.
She spent time. She actually,
Sure.
it wasn't a flyby. She actually stayed and asked a lot of questions. It was really nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of CPA funding, Whale, the local historic league, the city, just a tremendous effort, because you just can't do it on your own. And then the capital campaign and, local community leaders helped us out tremendously. So really, it's amazing. Yeah. So we can, on that, we can go. We can answer questions, or we can go and start the tour. Yeah, Dave.
I think one other accomplishment that VTH has been managing is a $375,000 federal HRSA grant for electronic health record system that Congressman Keating, we were one of the first community funding projects that was his priority, and that was appropriated in '22, and drawn down that grant, and Jason, you're...
Yeah, I'm so deep in that daily
implementing sessions now.
I didn't, I was like, it was a welcome opportunity not to, but you're right, very.
So the record keeping is in the data analysis and reporting. That system is now coming online, so
Yeah, we're in the process
state
of
of the
doing
art.
it at both homes as well.
Yeah.
It's been taking years to get that going, but it's vital to good programming here.
Yeah, and most people will have better data for you guys and for the community at large that funds us. So they say, here's what we did in a much more push button, internally consistent way.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, he's been a tremendous help with the Chapter 115, and again, the case managers probably work daily with them, right, John? So, yeah, so I mean, if there's...
You don't have any questions?
Any other questions or comments or anything like that, please? So what we can do now, Secretary, is we can take our tour and we'll go check out the building, go around the block, and we'll come back here and we get refreshments here if you have the time. And anybody here that wants to, please join us if you can. If not, we understand.
Great.
Okay, great. Brothers, they both recently passed. Sal, Anthony was out of town. So we got this building right here, and then we've got the transition house. Sergeant Bruce Portis, local. I'm sorry.
So both of those?
Yeah. Well, it's not this one right here, but it's a big long building right there. It's got the shed dormer on the back. I don't know if you noticed the picture; it was all dilapidated. So this one right here, we had to. Catherine Duff, the local architect, she really did a heck of a job saving that shed dormer right there. That was not necessarily original to the building, but we needed the space. Mo? Oh, no. You said
it is, or it's supposed to be, but.
Mayor, may we have a photo of
Yeah.
you with the Secretary of the Gym?
Get some of these guys.
Yeah. Even looking down the street.
Yeah, right. And you
don't want to put any of
If you wouldn't mind just...
They just do the sidewalks now.
Yeah.
You want right? Yep.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Rob Frazier, the house manager.
So basically, we're set up for 2 main rooms, which are, very nice to say the least. Everybody's provided trouble medication. From time that we try and house people in, but housing market is what it is. Some people it happens fast for, other people stalls a little depending on necessity. Like some people have. It's a beautiful building.
We're gonna have fireplace.
Isn't it gorgeous? Gorgeous. It's very nice. I mean, you can tell the guys take pride in it. So we have down the hall, the community part of the floor space. To your left, on this floor we have a handicap bathroom. Your first bathroom on the left. But we've had a lot of success. We're trying to. This is the transitional phase of the whole program. We try to get people in, get people, whatever they have, substance abuse issues or whatever the case, try to attack that first. This is a clean and sober environment. like all of our programs are, but this is the initial phase, and then we try and transition people out back into the community. The outreach folks that you just left the building in, they take over from there and do checkups, look-ins. If we haven't heard from somebody in a while, we'll have somebody do like a health and welfare check. But, I mean, there are worse places for people to be. We take pride in what we do. This is a great place to work as well. You know what I mean? I was an Army guy.
How long have you been working here?
Geez, 8 or not, close to 9 years now.
That long.
Yeah, when the old building was here, they had the old creepy hospital that they turned into the apartment building.
Yeah.
And I started at the very bottom. Worked overnight. Just get to it. Good things happen.
I agree.
Yeah, 849, a little bit more than 8. Oh, yeah, I bet. Yeah. The clinical treatment model program house right here. This is what we call Patriot House. Been here, we've had, the organization's owned it for a long time, since, I think they bought it in 1998, I believe, with CDBG monies and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Katie, can you just talk a little bit about this one? Yeah.
So this house, we have actually 3 floors, 5 beds on the 3rd floor. We have 5 beds on the 2nd floor and 3 beds on the 1st floor. We are full, which is awesome, and have been for a while. Average length of stay is about 6 to 9 months in order for us to kind of get these guys stable on their feet and into their next landing spot. But yeah, we have a really good group of guys right now. They all come down 3 times a week to the outreach center to do group, so that's wonderful. All of them are active participants, and then I meet with each one of them individually for an individual session as well. So we're addressing recovery, we're addressing mental health needs, a host of things, all the while still doing a little bit of case management and getting them hopefully housed as soon as possible.
So the difference between both buildings. So do you work with the clients and the residents in that building?
Just this one. Yeah.
So who provides their services? Or, like?
That would be Leah. And John Louise, who are...
So that's EOVS transitional and VA transitional, but clinical treatment model.
Their clinical treatment model.
Yeah,
which
we tried the
new.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like it. It seems to be good.
I've seen really wonderful results from it so far, and I know
GPD or
GPD.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we have this one and another one, a SIF model, service intensive transitional housing. It's another house on Arnold Street, which is about a mile away, and that one has 11 units in it. Just a rambling old hospital.
This is all permanent supportive housing.
This is all permanent supportive housing. Yep. There's 7 units in here, divided up to 2 bedrooms, and we've also got what do you call them? Efficiencies in here, right here, and it's been a good project. It really has. And it's been we're keeping it full. I think there's 1 vacancy right now. We have somebody.
What was the name of the hospital? What was it?
It was Union Hospital.
19th century hospital.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't functioning for a long time, or?
Right. Well, no, these guys were using it. It didn't function as a hospital.
Right.
Yeah.
Years. The organization, when they've established it, they rented some rooms from, I think it was a rehab center at that time. So you have 2 different units. This was based on John Ratka's program. I don't know, John was up in Haverhill. He passed away a few years ago. But we actually, the team that was the architects and things in WDC, Women's Development Corporation, and VTH, they went up, looked at his models that he had, and they liked the way he had them 2 separate houses, and this was one of the houses that he had. So more family oriented, and then this one's more multiple units. This one's got 23 units in it.
Just stop
Sure.
for a minute and we'll just take
Okay.
one.
Yep.
Another one, sorry.
Good, thanks. Thank you. It's right around lunchtime, so that's, yeah.
Yeah, next summer, yeah. Next summer.
We got the parking lot, and then, you know, outreach center is right there. VTH properties. Yeah, yep.
Crazy, yeah.
Yep.
It's a lovely building, yeah.
Yeah, it's big, yeah.
So is the parking here for the folks who live here?
It's shared.
Oh, okay.
It was actual an easement that we allowed because part of that parking lot actually belongs to our outreach building.
Okay.
So we allowed an easement for that, for the parking to happen. So, yeah, we can just go walk through real quick, with Chow, and then we'll go up to the stage. You want? Okay. So this is
Yeah, so they come in and-
this is it.
They pay like a couple dollars.
So when we did this building, you know, it wasn't normal that you do the cafeteria. So we kind of, I was thinking of New England Center because they still have their cafeteria. Yeah. So we said we've got to do the same thing. So we really had to kind of convince DHCD and CDAC, you know, Bronya, Clifton. I don't know if you know Bronya. We had to convince them that this was a good idea. So the guys,
Is it part of their rent? Or?
Nope. So the guys and gals that eat here, they have one meal for free that live here because they're permanent housing. So we had to kind of work that out. So it's, you know, and then our transitional guys come here for two.
Nice looking pancakes.
Kind of like a chow hall thing, yeah. Yeah, breakfast today, yeah. That's it. And that's pretty much what you see. This is our kitchen, commercial kitchen. We've got freezers in the back. You meet them. Good.
Sounds like
Hey.
it's breakfast for lunch day. And how long have you been working here, Lisa?
We've been open a little over 2 years.
Yeah, yeah, going on 3, I think, right now. So we're getting there. Yeah.
Do you make the breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Or?
Sure do.
All 3, 5 days a week?
Oh, but I do it. I love it.
Gotcha. It looks very good. Yeah,
It looks good. Those are good looking eggs.
Breakfast is always good, right?
Those pancakes.
Very tempting, believe me.
And private funding, fundraising that Dave was just going to talk to about that. Yeah. So we do have a meals program that we raise.
Being able to serve vets here reduces some of the burden on pantries, and so they can, you know, reallocate their resources to others in the community. So moving 14,000 meals a year here for vets is
Food security has been such an issue.
Right.
How long have you been exacerbated?
Yep.
Some of the members coming in CBOC, the Cape announced with the, it's just,
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it's 3 times as many meals they used to serve a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a good campaign, you know, that we've raised quite a bit of money for it, you know, to help. Right, Dave? Where are we at right now with the meals program? With the meals program, do you know?
we raised about 60,000.
Yeah, good. Glad you came. Glad you could
Whatever town hall, whatever you want to do here, just come back here and support you guys.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the support.
Yeah.
Appreciate the
Appreciate your
attention.
commitment
See-
to what's going on.
Yeah.
The housing.
Yeah.
For the commune here.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to be a campus. You know, we want to have a campus feel to it, and you know, we're working hard on that to improve it. You know, so you know, it's housing, and we've always got to manage that properly and make sure it's being managed properly. You know, so we have a suite of offices upstairs. And that's where our part-time case manager is for this building, because they wanted real dollars in and real dollars, so they wanted to see that. So we actually employ somebody for this building.
Yeah.
So you know, so that comes at a cost, you know. So plus the suite. So it's working out though. You know, we're working on it.
You guys are doing a fantastic job, and we're happy to be supportive of it. And,
it's
look forward to
awesome.
continuing to support
Yeah, in conversations, we can do whatever. You know, I mean, like you said, it's wide open here, and we've got a lot of veterans that we can help out still, you know, because they're functional zero, because we're keeping them engaged.
Whatever you guys doing here, we
going.
need to make sure everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I guess I'll swing by the DAV. You tell me to swing by there.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
Great.
good meeting you.
Likewise,
Yeah. Let me know how I can help. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.